Hi, and welcome to Unit 4, Practice 4.1, dealing with conditionals, and in particular, dealing with if and eventually else statements. So, as you notice in our notes, we talked about what are conditionals and what are Booleans, and we're basically checking to see if something is true or false. And if it's true, we're going to do one thing, and if it's false, we're going to do another thing. And then eventually we'll get to doing the programming. However, we stopped at talking about, or at least we looked at talking about, a simple conditional that dealt with whether or not if the temperature was below a freezing number, our program would warn us to wear a snow jacket. So in this practice part, we're going to look at the temperature jacket example number 1, and we're going to do our basic coding. So I'm also going to do an output, so that way it will know that that's what this example is. Number 1. Okay, so when I run this, let's just double check to make sure it works. We're good to go. Okay, so for this example, we're just going to basically create a variable. We're not going to ask the user for any input at this point. It's going to be very simple. We're just automatically going to put the variable amount in. We're going to check to see if it is in fact less than 32, and if it is, we're going to print out wear a snow jacket. So I need to declare a variable, and I'm going to do that right here. So variable, for example, number 1. And I'm going to declare it as an integer, and I'm going to call it temperature. And I'm going to say that it is equal to, and I can pick any number. Basically, I'm just checking to see if it's less than 32. If it is, it'll print out wear a snow jacket. So for right now, I might pick one less than 32. And then I'm going to do my simple if statement. So if the temperature, and make sure you spell that correctly, is less than 32, curly bracket, and once we put a curly bracket after that conditional or after that check, hit enter, it's going to give us a corresponding closing curly bracket. And you want to make sure your curly brackets correspond with that. So you could even comment right after that second curly bracket, this is the if statement, you know. And then here we're going to print something out. So if in fact the temperature is less than 32, we're going to print. Wear a snow jacket. So a few things, again, curly brackets are going to matter. So again, I always like to comment after the curly brackets. So like these last two are always going to deal with our public main and our class main. So I like to just say closes out public main. And this last one closes out our class main. So that way you know, because you're going to want to make sure for every opening curly bracket you have a closing one, and you definitely need one for the if statements. So again, line 8, we have our conditional. This is our check. Checks to see if true. If this is true, it's going to do what's in those curly brackets. It's going to do whatever I tell it to, and right now I'm going to say wear a snow jacket. So I'm going to run. This is example 1, temperature jacket, wear a snow jacket because the temperature is in fact less than 30. If we can check to see if it's greater than 32, let's check. Let's do 70. It shouldn't do anything because we didn't tell it to do anything if it was false. The only thing for this example is that we're checking to see if it is in fact true.